Go ahead,
Okay.
Awesome. Jackson. You got this. Jackson,
Uh,
go.
Awesome. So we're here today for the very second episode of Selfmade.
The very second episode.
I can't say anything, apparently.
You're very good at speaking.
All right,
Figure
all
it
right.
out.
We are here today for the second episode of Selfmade. We have Justine, Ezarik.
Ezarik, it's okay.
Oh,
Honestly,
my-
no one ever says my last name. When
I'm just going to say Justine.
When I change my Twitter bio to my last name, people are like, "Who are you?"
Okay.
So it's okay.
We are so happy to have iJUSTINE joining us for the second episode ever of Selfmade, presented by Rocket Mortgage. I texted Justine, and normally with other guests, we have somebody else taking care of like scheduling and making sure that they're here on time. And I texted Justine yesterday. I totally forgot to remind you about the podcast. Can you still come do it?
He did. Thankfully, I did put it on my calendar. Just
Wait,
blocked
you
off
use
the
your
whole day.
calendar?
Yes, I use my calendar.
Low five. Let's
what
go.
What kind of monster are you?
Well, I started ever since I started with 100 Thieves. I've been
Yeah.
using my calendar a lot more.
Guys,
Like, if you don't-
congratulations to Nadeshot here for using his calendar.
If you don't
This
send me a
is
calendar invite, I'm not
monumental.
going to be there.
You're actually pretty good with it. Like, if you send the invite, he'll probably show up.
He did not send an invite. Texted me last night, said, "Hey, by the way," I was like, "Yeah, I figured. I should probably confirm." And then to get the address to come here, I had to keep following up a few times. But it's okay. I totally get it.
Oh, no. You're just throwing me under the bus.
But the thing is, I'm the same way, so like I can't even get mad.
Well, the thing is, I didn't want anybody else dealing with you. Like, I didn't want to push you off to like our producers. You know, I wanted to be very
Personal.
Yeah, very personal. We used to make a bunch of videos together. I used to know the code to your house. It probably doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't. I changed it
Honest,
for your sake. I didn't want you ever coming back.
I don't think I'd be. I think I would have to get drunk to remember your code.
It's okay. Well, see, the thing is, we used to fight a lot about pizza. Like mostly about like whenever time I would order pizza, it would not be the right pizza that Matt wanted. It had to be like a perfect crisp. And I don't even know.
Because you have terrible taste in pizza.
Okay.
You are very particular about almost everything.
Like
to be
he would,
fair.
guys, he orders a pizza and then orders a second pizza just in case, like a backup pizza.
Well, that's because sometimes that they don't cook it correctly. Like they'll cook it too long, or they won't put enough sauce or enough cheese. And normally, if you order two, you're doubling your odds of getting like the perfect pie. All right. Either way, this podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. They are an incredible company and they support everything we do here at 100 Thieves. So really quickly, we're going to talk about them a little bit right now. Really quickly, guys, I want to give a big shout out to Rocket Mortgage, the presenting sponsor of the Selfmade podcast. Over the last 2 years, they've been here side by side with 100 Thieves to support our organization however we need them to. I think the Rocket Mortgage Team House, where our Legal Legends program plays out of, is a terrific example of that. Rocket Mortgage understands that a home is so much more than a house, and they are there to help whenever and however the client needs. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. Justine, I think I prefaced you a little bit about what Selfmade or the premise of the show is. And so just to give everybody a little bit more detail, since we're only on the second episode, this is really a deep dive into the entrepreneurial spirit of a lot of different people amongst a lot of different industries. Obviously, Hector was the first episode. You're the second. I've been wanting to podcast for a very, very long time. And I wanted to just be more comfortable. And since you and I have been such good friends for so long, I figured it'd be great to just dive into your life, your brand, how successful you are. Because for me, I don't think people realize how long you've been doing this for. And
I am like the grandmother of everything at this point. Like these kids now on YouTube, they're like, "Oh my God, you could be my mom." I was like, "All right, block." No, but it is incredible. And I think it's really great because I've also watched your career, from the beginning as well. So it's really cool just to see where people started from and then, what they've achieved and how they've maintained consistency, I think is such key. Consistency and of course the sanity of still enjoying what you're doing.
well, on top of that too, you make the joke about being everybody's grandmother, but you really paved the way for a lot of the creators that we see today. You really paved the way for a lot of careers that have been built off social media and just the digital space. Because from what I understand, and this is what I want to hear more about, is the origin story of iJustine. Because we could talk about like the phone bill and whatever the case may be, but you were hustling and working a lot harder than people realize to make all of this work, and you created this space.
Yeah, I think something that people also don't realize is I still shoot and edit almost all of my stuff. I mean, thankfully finally now I do have a little bit of help, but for the most part, most of the videos on my channel, I still edit.
For what it's worth, though, I think that's a mistake.
It is a mistake, but I actually really enjoy it. So I think for me, like I definitely do need to get help because I want to produce more content, but I will never give up the entirety of my channel. It's something that I love to do.
I have given mine up completely.
I know, and that's all you ever wanted.
It's all I ever wanted. Just because Jackson, because I'm not sure if you've ever edited a video.
I have actually.
Wait,
not
what?
my own like vlogs, but I used to do like video stuff in high school.
Wait, I think I've seen this. I wish we could pull it up. We're not going to do it right now, but it's just so strenuous because the one thing that's always been really difficult, I think, about my time spent on YouTube is that the algorithm really rewards consistency. And so for like the videos that I was creating, like everyday vlogs, I wanted to elevate the quality for every single video, but that meant more intensive editing, and it's just miserable. Like you're on this wheel and you can't get off it. If you stop uploading, then you won't get as many subscribers that day and you won't make as much money. And then you're going to bed and you're thinking about, wow, my entire career is going to implode, and then I need to go edit another video and come up with a really good idea. And that killed me.
No,
not everything has to be bad.
To be fair.
It's true, but no, I mean, I think
you don't understand.
I mean, I definitely get it because I was doing, I think, over like 30 videos a week at one point. Like I was doing daily gaming videos, and then I would do kind of a cut down of those. I was doing daily one take videos, then behind the scenes of my main videos on my other channel, and then my main channel, I would do like 3 videos a week. So
all yourself?
Yeah.
Like, produce.
I think it was like right before maybe like we started hanging out or something, but it was like it put me in a really, really bad place. And I think that it kind of transitioned over to when we all started hanging out too, because it was just seeing sort of like what you were doing. I was also inspired by like you weren't making daily videos at that time. And I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to make a change. And at that point, I kind of went back and I thought about what are the things that I really, really love? Because I need to stop trying to make videos about everything and just really focus on what I loved. And I was like, okay, I like food, I like tech, and I like travel. So that's pretty much what I made my entire channel about. And that kind of brought my sanity back.
Yeah.
It really helped. And then still doing like the gaming channel. But then gaming for me was something that was always so much fun that when it became a job and a chore, like it wasn't fun anymore. So that's when I decided to just stop doing the gaming channel.
It just sucked the fun out of it.
It did. I mean, I would be constantly recording and just doing all of this stuff. And I was like, now I have to go edit what I just did. Like I'm playing for them, not myself.
Right. You know what? I want to talk to you about burnout a little bit, but I don't want to jump too far ahead because I feel like for my subscribers and anybody that's watching this podcast particularly, they might know who iJustine is or what you're doing now. But when you talk about paving the way and being the grandmother of YouTube, really, where did iJustine come from? Where did the name start? And where did you really, where did you find out, or what was the point in your career where like, I want to be on the internet and this is what I want to do?
I think it was I don't think it was ever something that I really wanted to do. I really did just kind of fall into this by accident. And because I always loved creating content, I loved kind of making people laugh. And I mean, I made my first website when I was in 6th grade. Like I was coding it by hand. And then all through high school, I did a daily random photo website, which was all coded by hand, HTML, like the archive pages, everything. And I updated that for maybe like 6 to 7 years or so. So all through high school, through college, I mean, anything. It would be something that I took or just something that I found online or something that people submitted. And
very early on Instagram or Tumblr or whatever else.
It was really early. Actually, I was like the 103rd person to join Instagram, which is
I meant like you were doing Instagram yourself.
Yeah. And it's just crazy because it was something that I was just doing for fun, but it really taught me a lot. And I think just, that passion that I've always had for taking photos or creating content, it just stems back to even when I was really little. Like I was always stealing my parents' video cameras, making videos about like our little guinea pig, and I would be editing them from 2 VCRs. So I would have like VCR tapes next to each other, and then I would hit record. I'd push play on this, fast forward, and record a little bit more of what I filmed. It's so insane.
When you were doing that at the time, was there ever part of you that said, I'm going to post this or I'm going to share this somewhere, or were you just doing it for yourself?
There wasn't a thing to post then. There wasn't even, we barely even had a TV at that point. There wasn't even a computer. I mean, there was maybe like the original one that didn't even connect to the internet, that had like that printer that would be like,
wait, hold on.
I didn't want to make the sound.
Wait, can you do that again?
It's like, it's more like, it has the holes on the side.
Are you talking about the original dial-up? Or? No,
I'm talking about the printer that has like the paper on the side with the holes. It's like, we didn't have dial-up when I was making videos on the VCR.
I actually remember what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I know exactly the noise that you're referring to. So I think, to be honest with you, from everything that you just told me, you're just built differently.
What do you mean?
You're just built differently. I think for me, the things that you talk about,
Yeah.
the things that you fell in love with. I remember in high school a very particular moment. I'm sure Jackson, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but I bought a compact camera for whatever reason. Like this was even before I think Call of Duty took off for me. But I built this compact I bought this compact camera and I made like a video trampoline montage at my friend's house. And I used the intro of Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all, you and me. You know,
You're gonna
that
get a
song.
copyright strike.
Well, honestly, that
wasn't close enough. Sorry.
Are you sure? I think the
I'm pretty
algorithm
sure.
could pick up on
It
it.
could.
We might need to bleep that, cut that. But that was like my first experience with, wow, I really, really enjoy this. But I think what you talk about with gaming, where the fun was somewhat sucked out of it because it started to turn into a job or it seemed like a chore.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened with me on YouTube for quite some time. And now that I'm disconnected from it so much, I sort of miss it and I miss being able to create. But then I realized like, okay, I can just hand my SD card to this guy who's much, much better than me at editing
Yeah.
and it's going to look great. And I don't have to do a damn thing. And it's a phenomenal feeling. But
well, it is finding those people is really difficult too. And it's finding people that you get along with that shares your vision and passion too, because I've worked with a lot of people who are really talented, but it's like, we didn't really click. And I'm like, I'm spending a lot of time with this person again. So it is, timing is everything when it comes to editing. So it's like, you can give me your footage and we can all just edit the same footage, but you can get a completely different outcome. So it is something that you just have to like, find.
you need a Jackson.
I don't know if I'm going to help with editing.
No, but I mean, you did a phenomenal job at the beginning of like helping recruit at 100 Thieves and find talented people that could, take care of that
I'm
process
hiring,
for
too.
you.
I guess-
Well,
right,
first of
fine.
all,
See you later.
Cool. Bye.
hold on.
Okay, cool.
That was easy.
Maddie, let's go.
All right. See you later.
Goodbye.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. The dog thinks that we're actually leaving.
I
It's okay,
think
put
it,
back down.
I think it really is fascinating how many big YouTubers still edit their own videos.
It is
Just because
surprising.
of that style thing that you'd hope you could find or replace, but clearly is not easy at all.
It can be taught, but it is difficult. But now I think if you want to produce the amount of content and plus have an actual life and
Yeah.
keep your sanity and keep your friends, then you do need to have boundaries. And
So clearly there are pros and cons to being like a content creator, but that's the other aspect of this conversation that I think I'm pigeonholing you when it's not the case. I feel like you're so much more than a content creator. And so for me, I know you've told the story a million times, but I just want to hear from you specifically right now. When did iJustine begin? Like what was the moment where I'm going to try to make this a career? I love doing all these things for fun and technology is getting better and I can edit, I can do all these things, I can upload on the internet. Like when did you start uploading to YouTube or when did you create iJustine?
I mean, I created the YouTube channel in 2006, and then I moved to California in 2007 with nothing. Like I had a computer, this hideous pink suitcase just filled with some clothes, and then a lighting kit that I think you've probably used. It was that one that kept catching on fire all the time. I
don't particularly remember anything setting on fire.
Well, it set on fire when you weren't there. But the point is that it was 2007 when I moved to California for the first time. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea, but I knew that what I was doing was something. And I had started getting a few sponsored projects, and that was when the YouTube Partner Program happened. So I did start making some revenue.
Who was sponsoring you at that time, though? Like, what type of brands were investing?
Intel was very, very early. So
Really?
yes, they were very early. So I'm just always super grateful for them. Ford also very, very early.
What? In what
GE,
year?
This was like 2007, 2008.
You're telling me you were working with Ford, GE, and Intel in 2007, 2008?
Yes. And,
That's
and I'm
incredible.
like so grateful for them because they really did take a chance on, my content and sort of had a vision and we.
I have more
Matt's
questions.
freaking
You
out.
cannot go
Okay.
past that because even now, the esports industry and how prevalent and how big and how much how much it's growing and how much it's evolving, there's still difficulty bringing in like those Fortune 50 brands and those conglomerates to come and invest in this space. How in the world? Because didn't it launch in 2005?
It was 2005. Yeah.
How in the world were you doing all these things by yourself? And then did they reach out to you?
Yeah.
Were you sourcing yourself in different agencies or?
No, I mean, it was all a lot of like incoming because it was still, I mean, it was very early. So I think a lot of people weren't really sure how to work with influencers. And I think so it was around like 2007, 2009, between that time frame is when I think, the first real project started kind of coming in. And it was crazy because, people didn't really know what I was doing. Like I would take meetings in Hollywood and they would kind of make fun of me or shun me or I mean, there were definitely people who did take chances, but it's funny because all those people who made fun and kind of mocked what we were doing or what I was doing at the time, it's like they always come back. So that's a really great lesson that I've kind of found too, like even in high school or for people growing up, like when someone's making fun of you, just remember it's going to come back around at some point.
Gang. That's what I like to say. Gang, gang.
I remember until probably like 2013, there was like celebrities, and that meant like Hollywood actors,
Yeah.
people like that. And then there were like pseudo celebrities, which are digital people basically. And it's amazing to see like in literally 10 years how much that's shifted to now like the people with the most attention and power in this world are people like you.
And the gaming space, I mean, I remember one of my friends going to their first Counter-Strike tournament. I was in high school and we used to go to LAN parties. So like I didn't go to my prom, like I went to a LAN party. Like we called it Lanti Prom. I made the logo for it.
amazing.
I was very excited.
Well,
Can we bring up that logo? Can we
I
find
don't
that?
know if it was even online.
not only are you well versed in logo creation for your, what is it called? Lanta party?
Lanti.
Lan-
So capital LAN and then a dash TI. So like anti-prom. But
I want it to be known that Justine has created, I think, 2 birthday card invitations for me for parties that she's thrown at her house for my birthday.
I went to school for video production and graphic design, so that is something that I've always been really passionate about and really love.
We could definitely find those birthday
definitely
card
can.
invites. Wait, was the address on there though?
We can, Matt, Photoshop. Hello.
I know, but I want to bring it up on the fly because that's what these monitors do.
Well, we're gonna have to bring it up post
Because I'm not sure if we brought anything up on Hector's episode, but it's kind of like the Joe Rogan experience where they want to show something and all of a sudden they just bring it up. Yeah, Joe Rogan's the man.
I'm not sure if we posted this online. I think that was like a private invite.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah,
We'll
but
find it.
we can
We'll figure it
definitely
out.
find it.
I think I still don't. So you had a LAN party instead of prom.
Yeah, but it was crazy because I remember my friend Casey. He wasn't at one of our LAN parties for whatever reason, and they're like, "Yeah, he's competing in Counter-Strike tournament." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was in high school, so this had to be like 90s or 2000-ish. I'm trying to think when it was, but it was so early, and just to sort of be at kind of that beginning of when I first heard about like competitive gaming, like it was incredible. And I mean, we used to play like Unreal Tournament and then like Quake, and we would go to cyber cafes because we didn't even have the internet that was powerful enough to play.
Internet cafes are coming back, actually.
I love it. I
like
think it's a great idea.
What are they called? PC bongs?
Yeah, well, at least in Korea.
PC bangs?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
I think it's bangs.
Well, bangs are actually really, really popular in Asian countries,
Yeah.
and then I think they're actually making somewhat of a comeback in America.
Yeah.
I've heard people talking about them.
I think it's cool because this is is such a social thing, like gaming, but you're kind of disconnected. So being able to bring that all together is so fun.
I have a question for you, Jackson.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not Jackson.
It's coming. It's coming back your
Hopefully
way.
it's
Don't
gonna
worry.
ricochet.
I'm scared.
What do you know about the beginning of Twitch TV?
So I know a little bit about Justine TV, and I'm very excited to hear about it from her end because I believe there were people who just streamed their regular lives on Justine TV.
That's not the question I'm asking. I mean, it somewhat is, but what do you know about the beginning of Twitch TV? Why does Twitch TV exist? Why do you think it exists?
Because they were doing all the live streaming stuff, and then a few people's gaming content started really blowing up on the platform, and they realized like we should pivot to this. That's what I know about it, at least.
Okay.
I'm actually blushing. I'm so embarrassed over
Well,
here.
no,
Just hearing
but-
you talk about that because I actually forgot about it. There's so many segments of my life that I've just kind of like blocked out because once you're done with that, you just forget about it.
And I think that's honestly, we've been friends for so long, and I'm not trying to gas you up more than you need to be. But I mean, what you have accomplished is just absolutely unbelievable because you have gone from the very beginning and have developed and evolved in so many different ways to still be one of the biggest creators on this platform. Like, I don't think people sitting at home can ever understand how much just like ingenuity and how much persistence and how much like transcendent thought process needs to be for you to like make these decisions because you were on Justine TV. I didn't actually know this until you started talking about it when we started hanging out more and we were becoming pretty good friends. But you were streaming your life 24/7 on Justine TV
for almost 6 months straight. I was the second. I was the second person to stream on Justine TV.
I thought you were going to say like
after
6
Justine.
days, maybe.
Oh,
Justine Khan, the creator of Justine TV, was the first streamer on the platform. You were the second.
And my name was Justine. This is nuts. So, okay, my first trip to San Francisco was out for Macworld. I was actually doing a podcast for Mac Break, which was incredible because I obviously love Apple. But I saw this guy walking around with a camera on his head. And I was like, oh yeah, that's somebody I need to be friends with. So I went And I talked to him. And at this time, I'm holding a camera, filming myself. I'm like, man, this would be so much easier if this was just live. So I was like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? So we got talking. He's like, oh, that's crazy. Your name's Justine. I was like, yeah, whatever, And then we had some further conversations about like what he was doing. And I was super interested in the technology. And at that time, he had a laptop connected to a Logitech webcam with a Sprint eVideo card. And it had unlimited data at the time. And I swear that he is the reason that Sprint had to cut back their unlimited data because everyone started using that setup.
Yeah.
So I said, if you ever needed to take a break or do investor meetings, because it was pretty stressful, especially.
And he was the CEO of the company, I think, at the time too,
so
right?
trying to take meetings and do all of that stuff was crazy. So I said, if you need a break, let me know. I'll come out and I'll take it for a day. So I did, and it was so much fun. My friend Ezarik, who is back home in Pittsburgh,
I met Ezarik.
We started.
She's very nice.
She's great. So we started making videos together, and I feel like making the videos together, and also we can get into this too, was also the downfall of our sort of relationship at a point. But going back to Justin TV, it was a really crazy experience because it was one of those things that like really, I think, messed me up for a while after doing something like that for 6 months straight, 24/7. I mean, you do start getting paranoid. Even now doing live shows, like I kind of go back to that feeling of just being like super paranoid.
Were you, how many people were watching back then?
I mean, I think like average of like 5,000, and then
really
like usually, I mean, like upwards if I was actually doing something. Maybe
imagine
like
if they had subs and donations back then, you would have been
25,000. I know people would always would randomly find like my PayPal and send me money.
Oh, lit.
I would go to a restaurant, they would be like sending drinks, and I mean it was just nuts. I mean,
did you realize what 5,000 people watching you live meant at that point? Like, was it insane? Was it just like
so? Because it became such a normal thing that like I was just hanging out with my friends. I would take them to coffee shops, and I called them like them. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm with my friends. I mean, I went on like dates and like it's weird.
Wait, you had the Justin TV camera live stream on 24/7. You went on dates with that thing on?
I mean, clearly it didn't work out.
Those guys must have thought you were crazy. I'd have been out of there.
I mean, well, it's funny because one of my friends, like we would always say we were on a date, but he was just a friend and like knew that what I was doing. So we would just
Did you have people who played characters?
Not really. Okay. I mean, he would be the only sort of character, but it really was, it was so immersive because you were in this world and so were all of these other people. So you had to be on 24/7. Like I was always, I mean, this is super creepy, but like it was still in my bedroom. So like it watched me sleep. But I would play music. It was copywritten, obviously. I'll never forget. Like I used to play Tool because that's one of my favorite bands.
They're coming out with new music.
August 30th. I know.
I thought of you when I saw it. I bet you were going nuts.
I was throwing stuff. So excited.
Hopefully nothing expensive.
It was just a lot of things, papers mostly.
Were you making videos when you were on Justin TV, still uploading to YouTube? Like, was somebody cutting that up and uploading it to a channel? I'm like floored. I cannot believe that you were doing that so early and just was so far ahead of everybody else and knowing where this was going to go.
If you guys want to pull up something, there may be some sneeze montages.
Sneeze montages?
Every time I would sneeze, there's like montages of me sneezing. It's weird.
This is like the Truman Show. This is literally the Truman Show.
Dude, like it was crazy. Like I felt it put you in this weird headspace of like I didn't need actual friends anymore because I always had friends with me.
Is that why you're so weird?
It could be. I mean, it definitely takes a weird type of person to be able to do that because
it takes a different breed.
Streamers now, I mean, they get it because it is a grind and it is exhausting. And we're talking about burnout. Like it really does. It sucks the life out of you. And people watching, it's, we try to be upbeat and positive because we want you to have a fun time and have a great experience. But it's rough.
Well, what was the tipping point for you? Because you said you did it for about 6 months. Why did you quit?
I think I was trying to figure out if I was moved. Actually, when I moved to California, I believe. So I still streamed a little bit here and there, but it got to be too much. I was like, I am just physically exhausted. I'm not able to maintain friendships. And even like my friend Des, she's like, I'm going to move out. You basically choose me or the camera. And like an idiot, I chose the camera.
Oh wait, that's why you guys had a little bit of a falling out?
Yeah,
because I never really knew the story.
I mean, we're best friends still now to this day, but it definitely took some time to kind of heal and patch that up because it was like I made that choice and like I never forgave myself, and even now like I don't forgive myself, but it's one of those things like if I wouldn't have taken that chance on this, maybe I wouldn't be here, So it's sometimes there are sacrifices, but I think as I got older, it's like you need to kind of weigh those a little bit more.
And I feel like that'll be a common theme with Selfmade. I feel like there will be a lot of points in whoever comes on the show's career where they had to make a decision on which road to take, and they probably burned some bridges or hurt others, and hopefully not. It doesn't happen too often, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the point. For me, I guess it's making sacrifices that you wouldn't normally have to make if you weren't trying to do something that is different and that could lead to a bigger and broader success.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard because I've definitely had to make a lot of sacrifices, and I know like sometimes along the way, like people don't understand what we do, and they can be negatively affected because they don't understand it either. Like it is a whole nother world. And just for people watching and listening, they just think that videos get posted. You just stream. It's great.
Yeah.
It's easy. So until you try it and really feel like what it's like to be in our shoes, I mean, it's like that with any industry. So it's not just this is such a difficult thing. Oh my goodness. It's everything is a struggle.
I think you can often only connect the dots looking backwards too. And like looking ahead, it's like, this is, how could this possibly work out? And then looking back, okay, these things led to these things and it worked out in the end, but
Yeah.
definitely not easy like looking ahead at that.
I think one of the big things is everyone's always asked me throughout the years of like, what's your goal? What are you going to be doing in 5 years? And I've never had an answer. And I think for me, like I kind of had some things in mind that I would like to do, but I was never set on one thing, because if I would have been, I feel like, again, I may not be sitting here. I may not have, done a lot of things, like even hosting and stuff like that. When I hosted a bunch of stuff with Call of Duty, that was very intimidating. The amount of hate and terrible things that people said to me. I mean, you'd sort of have to deal with a lot of stuff, but it was something that I really, really loved.
And you crushed it too.
And I loved Call of Duty. I had so many other offers to host other things for other games. I'm like, well, I don't play that, so I can't sit here and talk about it.
I mean, the versatility that you have, like as an on-camera presence, is unbelievable, because I've been offered opportunities to do hosting, and talking in front of a live audience is terrifying to me. Like it's absolutely terrifying. And you go up there with such grace and you're so smooth in the way you present.
Thank you.
It really is unbelievable. I'm becoming more of a fan as I just think through and look through all the things that you've accomplished, because you've done traditional media as well. Because I guess that would be a pretty cool question for me to have insight from you. Because as you grew on the internet, I'm sure there were a lot of opportunities to segue into more traditional media and a lot more opportunities. Was there ever a point in your career where you felt like you had to make a decision on what your priority was, or what you wanted to work on, or what you wanted to create?
There was definitely like early on where people would be like, I'm going to give you this TV show, but you have to stop making YouTube videos. And I laughed in their office. I'm like, why would I do that? Like, this is something that I completely control. I've never given up any ownership of my YouTube channel. Like, that is one thing that is mine entirely. And like, that will never change, because I've put like my entire life into that.
Which is so unique, by the way, like in any kind of media. I don't think there's another example where you can the talent can truly wholly own not only decision making and monetary everything, which is really unique.
Yeah, and I think there's so many great opportunities for people now. It's because if you really do want something bad enough, like you can do it. Like there may be a lot of limitations, but I really do strongly believe if there's something that you want to do, like you just have to go do it. And I think it's something that like I hate to say, but it's like you make time for the things that you want to do. And it kind of sucks because sometimes I'm like, man, I know I should have made more time for this or this or this, but it's like you know what you want. You just got to go for it.
You're goddamn right. I completely agree.
Yeah, we hate that phrase though. I know you don't like that.
Wait, what
the
phrase?
Making time for things.
What? Wait, hold on. What in the world? Where did you just take this?
Should I flip the table now?
Jesus Christ, my palm just started sweating immediately as you said that. I have no idea what you're referring
No, you've
to.
tweeted this before.
What?
You tweeted that phrase once before.
No, I did not.
Look it up.
When have I ever?
You said something about making time for the things that you like, and that resonated with me because I also have sometimes not made time for the things that I should have.
You're opening a can of worms here. We need another guest before.
We've got a can of Purple Edition sugar free.
This is acai, Red Bull.
Acai. Oh, what really?
Yeah, it's incredible. You should
I
taste
love
it.
acai.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
A little bit of a change of topic, but you've had so much conviction in what you're just talking about in terms of staying like true to what you really cared about content wise. How have you found, obviously probably after the 6 month of live streaming, but how have you found balance as Justine versus iJustine and this person who's so present in public?
Wow. Yeah, that's a struggle for sure. And I think this past year is probably one of like the most difficult years that I've ever had, just personally. I mean, professionally, like I've tried to make sure everything, no one ever knows like the things that are going on behind the screen or anything like that. But I think it was really focusing on things that I wanted to do for myself, taking things offline, doing things that I'd never done before and making myself feel extremely uncomfortable. I haven't even talked about this ever online, but I started training in jujitsu about a year ago, actually over a year ago at this point.
Wait, are you still doing that?
I still am. Yep.
What?
And every time I travel, I find a gym wherever I'm at and walk into a completely uncomfortable place of a
You
new
do when
gym.
you travel.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So it's really crazy because that for me has taught me so much about myself. Just being completely uncomfortable in a situation where I don't know anyone, no one knows who I am, and just being completely vulnerable and learning something new. And because at some point I felt like I was just really good at all of the things that I was doing, and that's the only things that I was doing. So going in and learning something completely new was so incredible.
It makes you feel like a kid again or like a student again when it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I actually don't know how to do this. I'm not comfortable. I think that's really important.
It is. And then, it's like from there, it's like once I started getting comfortable with that, I'm like, what else do I do now? Then I started doing like knife training and stuff like that. So
It's awesome. Matt's also very distracted.
the
by
dog
Justine's
is walking
Maddie.
around.
I haven't seen Maddie in so long, and he just like my eyes are tearing up. I love that dog. I haven't seen him in so long.
Was there a part of you that when you started jujitsu, for example, was like, oh my gosh, this is such a good content and opportunity, I should probably put this somewhere? Or was it always going to be something that I'm doing this for me,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this private? Like, how do you make those decisions?
I mean, I think
Back on the couch. He knows. He's
the
back on the
dog's
couch.
back on the couch.
It's his couch. Maddie, go up on the top. Go up on the top where you like it.
Maddie might have to make an appearance on this
He will have
podcast
to.
at-
Oh, he's coming.
towards the end.
Maddie, lay down.
Lay down, honey.
Sorry, guys.
Sit. Good boy.
Easily distracted by dogs.
No, he used to sleep
Matthew
up on
Hay.
that couch. Yeah. Well, listen, I haven't seen this dog in like a while. Okay. And he used to hang out with me, and when he used to sleep at my house, it was great.
In
I
terms of
love that
vices,
dog.
easily distracted by dogs is pretty good to have, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go back to, listen, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, is it jiu-jitsu or jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
You need to start watching anime. That's like your next course of action.
Is it?
Wait, is that
It's like
Brazilian?
is that
directionally sort of kind of close, maybe.
I think I'm just going to maybe watch training videos instead.
okay? Yeah, that
I
probably
always
is
wanted to
a
put
little
you
bit
in a
more.
chokehold, though. Do you remember that I used to
applicable.
threaten you whenever I first started?
What?
I used to threaten you that I wanted to put you in a chokehold.
Oh yeah, you really want to do that? I was like, Justine, I'm about to knock your ass out.
If you've
How
done a
could you
year
not?
of jujitsu,
I don't
you
hit
are
women.
doomed, Matthew.
I don't
Hay.
hit.
I'm sorry.
I don't hit women. Listen,
Good luck.
Justine, Justine and I used to get in tons of arguments. If she started throwing jiu-jitsu moves at me, I'm picking up a heavy blow.
Okay, you have to edit that out because
No!
we're going to give you crap.
Yes, they are. Cut it out.
Okay,
Also,
so go
you
back-
would not be able to do anything against her. I feel very confident.
Well, okay, so
Justine is a sissy.
let me put you to sleep.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu, dude, is like the base of MMA.
All right,
It's like the fundamental core skill that MMA fighters use to destroy people.
listen. What you're not understanding is that I wrestled freshman year of high school.
Do you want to go to sleep right now? Do you know how long it takes before brain damage starts setting in?
Have you actually ever put somebody to sleep?
I'm
Because
very
I
No,
have.
because you tap. You can't.
I
That's
act-
the number one thing is you don't want to hurt somebody.
I
while
have
you're
actually
training.
put somebody to sleep on accident. It was MLG Anaheim 2014, and Mike Flamesword Chavez. I put him out on accident, and his head hit the concrete. I thought I killed a man.
I believe it.
It was probably one of the scariest moments of my life.
Oh my
Besides
gosh.
the point.
And you were put to sleep at 12:17 p.m. on whatever day we were shooting
What
this.
time is it? What time is it right now?
It's a little before then. I
Okay.
gave you a little bit of a window.
All right, good.
All right, let's bring it back.
No, but you were talking about deciding on what to share and what not to
Yes.
share. It was a very sort of conscious decision. I knew this is something that I'm keeping offline, and even like I think one of the most exciting experiences I feel like that I was most proud of myself for, like I didn't share. Like the first time I got a stripe on my belt, like I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. And it was for me. It was for no one else. And it didn't even matter.
Really
it was
awesome.
like, this is so great. Like going into something, being completely vulnerable and is really terrifying. But deciding to not share it, I feel like I have started so many hobbies. You know that I have like a closet full of just like stuff that I never like wanted to do. I want to play piano. I want to be a skateboarder. I want to do this.
Justine spent like $10,000 on a DJ set and never hooked him up.
I plugged it in once.
Never
it was for
set
the
'em up.
dog, to be fair.
Hey, listen,
We all have those though. But a
Me
year of
too.
jujitsu, like
Yeah.
talk about the opposite.
Wait, no, we gotta go back.
But then I got a toe injury.
have you used the DJ set yet?
Absolutely not. Do I
She
I've
taught
been busy fighting.
She taught the dog she got him a mini DJ set and he would spin it for treats. I swear to God.
It's true.
She went to lengths to teach a dog how to DJ instead of DJing herself.
I know, but I was honestly only trying to teach myself to DJ so that we could go on tour together.
Yeah, she had
So-
really big plans for DJ Mini Matt.
They're still coming back, but we can talk about that later.
Hey, well, listen, I'm 5% that dog's dad, and so you know I'm getting my cut.
Have you been paying child support? I've seen nothing of the sort.
I bought that dog like a $200 UGG bed, or not UGG bed. What's
he
like?
didn't like it.
You had me buy.
It was a love
you and
sack?
Jenna had me buy like a $200 love sack bed for this damn dog, and he never laid in it once, not once. It just sat in the corner of my apartment. And when Jenna and I broke up, I even gave her the dog bed back, and I
Sounds like
hope
Maddie's the spoiled one. He hasn't
like a you
DJ'd.
problem.
He hasn't sat in the love sack.
Maddie, that dog is treated better than any other creature on this planet. And that's, my friend, why you
deserves
should never get a dog. I should never get a dog, because until you
That's some
have
blasphemy.
no, I'm serious. And I won't get a dog until I know I can take care of that dog to the level of which you and Jenna take care of that dog, because I want to spoil that creature of the earth. Okay, let's get back to this, because really quickly circling back to the question that you proposed to Justine, I think it's actually very, she tries to figure out ways to disconnect and keep things offline. But I think the one thing that I've always admired about Justine is that she is exactly who she is on and off camera. It's like the same person. So like this, sometimes loud and obnoxious, or sometimes energetic, or sometimes, very honest and just very fun and good spirit. Like that's her on and off. So I feel like you consciously, I think for your sake of not burning out, it's incredible. Like even hearing now, even if the cameras weren't on, to hear that you're doing like jujitsu and you have all these other hobbies, I'm so happy for you, because you work so hard, and it's like you're waking up and you're going to film a project for some sponsored brand, and then you're coming back and you're editing videos for your own channel. And it's just, I don't know how you still do it. I still can't believe you don't have anybody helping you.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I have a small bit of help, and Jenna's always helping me film too.
Right.
But it is, I think it came down to like this past year, I was like, I have to make a change, because like I'm not happy, like just a lot of things. And I think for me, I was like, okay, what can I do differently? I stopped drinking, because just
Well, that's boring.
hey, I know. But for me, like I never drank a lot anyway, but like I just felt so awful after. So that was a start. Then I started taking jujitsu, and that taught me a lot about just.
I think you lost Matt.
Yeah, I'm not as.
Like, you stopped drinking.
I'll be honest with you, not as interested anymore. That's good for you, I suppose.
It is. No,
but
I
it sounds like I actually don't even like hearing
find
you
the
say that,
thing-
because it sounds like you need to like AA. You didn't drink a lot, anyways.
I didn't, but I felt like.
But when you did drink, you were a lot of fun.
I was a lot of fun. But then sometimes I felt like I was drinking for the wrong reasons too. So I think when I realized that this potentially might be a problem, that's when I knew I had to stop. So
Oh, you don't drink when you're bored?
no, but like bored, or like just things weren't going my way, and then I'd be like, well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have a glass of wine. So I think it took a long time for me to sort of get to this point of just being comfortable and like knowing myself. And
Well, it goes
what
back
I
to
had
the
do.
balance point too of like
Yeah.
living that kind of energetic public life all the time. I imagine is like you have to be very on top of yourself in the down moments and figure out how to like rejuvenate and like kind of come back.
Yeah, and I think like scheduling has become very, very important. It's like I know if I want to do all of these extracurricular activities like knife fights, and one day I can, if Matt comes at me because he wants the pizza that I have, I can be ready.
Or the second pizza.
The second pizza. I think my favorite story, I think, from back in the day when Justine, Jenna, and I would hang out a lot. Jenna ordered me a second personal pizza at a party that Justine was throwing, and she hid it for me so that I could have my own personal pizza so that nobody would eat it. Because
You're so weird.
I would always get worried that all the cheese pizza would be gone. And it's kind of like a childhood nightmare. Like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, like, Buzz, you ate all the cheese, and then I'm going to knock over a bunch of milk on the passports and the airplane tickets, and
You act
everybody's
like
going to
this
hate me,
happened
and then
once.
my parents are going to lose me.
This is you like most nights.
It is.
Well, listen,
Matt needs his little tiny baby separate pizza. For
I have
everybody
very
else.
specific needs, Jackson. I'm sure you have those quirks and qualms in some way. I am a weird guy. I appreciate you tolerating it. Let's go back to
We are
Justine.
all weird in our own way, and I think that's what is honestly so cool about the internet, though, because you can find those people that do enjoy the things that you like.
I have a question,
Yes.
and I've never asked this. I've never asked this about you, because have you seen the female Snapchat filters that circulated like a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago?
I did. I feel like I couldn't find it though, and I gave up.
You couldn't find it on Snapchat?
No.
Well, you're already a girl. What good would it do?
Make me beautiful.
Okay. I have a question because when I put the female filter on, I look like Miranda Cosgrove, or at least
You
I thought I did.
I saw you posted that.
I did.
You did.
Were you? What were your thoughts, or did you think anything of the Nickelodeon show iCarly?
No, they took it from me. Like they admitted it.
Wait,
No
what?
way.
They admitted it? What?
Yeah.
Because the show is literally you.
No, I know. I'm aware. It's fine. Cool. I'm clearly over it.
Wait, so tell me how this transpired, or what was that like in your life when it happened? When you saw iCarly come on, was your mouth just jaw dropped
A little bit.
while watching
well,
this?
I mean, kind of.
This little shit.
Until like years later, just in a meeting somewhere when someone's like, "Oh yeah, they definitely based that off of you." I was like, "Cool, no big deal. I'm not upset."
If you saw Miranda Cosgrove right now, would you fight her?
Absolutely not. She was just playing a character,
That's
and I
fair.
actually did run into her once before. I was like, "Oh my gosh, how cool!"
Did you
Nice
say,
to
hey,
meet you.
your success, other than Drake and Josh, based on me?
And School of Rock.
Fair enough. Okay.
Well-
Maybe not her success.
But I mean, it's like, what am I gonna do? I mean,
That's incredible.
I feel like at some point I'm so used to just people like ripping off something that I've done too that you just sort of like, all right, well,
What about that Grand Theft Auto photo with the girl at the pier?
that was crazy as well.
It looked
That
just
was a
like
lot of
you, and it
drama.
had the iPhone.
I know, but it wasn't.
We're
That
definitely
was
pulling that up on screen right
That
now.
was
You
a
guys can
lot
see
of
it.
drama. Someone just actually tweeted me that not too long ago.
Yeah, I thought that was wild. Yeah,
I thought it was me. I was like,
The
did I
amount
do
of
this?
things, like as we've gone through this conversation, the amount of things in your career that have impacted culture, now that I realize, is astonishing. It's like actually insane.
I mean, but what's cool now is for me to meet little girls and for them to be like, I'm going to start getting into coding, or I'm going to be programming, or I want to be an editor, I want to be a photographer, because then I mean I was the only girl in like my coding classes, and like there was no one else in it, and we got made fun of for doing that or liking computers. Like I was a dork or a nerd. I was in the computer lab like doing just
Lantai
whatever.
party.
Yeah, I was
Or Lantai
doing
prom.
things, and like video games weren't cool then, and
Yeah.
now it is just incredible to see that people can just embrace the things that they love and make it a career, or just have fun and be accepted.
So Selfmade is a deep dive into business, and I think we've done a pretty thorough job of really trying to learn the backstory of iJustine and really understand the difficulties that you've had, the pros and cons of like building your brand, like sacrifices that you need to make. But I think the one aspect of business that always has been really motivating for me, and I'm not afraid to talk about it, is money. Right? Money makes the world move, and it's one of the foundational pieces of every successful business. What would you say is important to you? I mean, is money something that's always been a driving force for you? It seems like a lot of things that you've done have stemmed from passion, but I know that you're very successful, and people don't really realize how much iJustine is cashed out, in my opinion, and I'm very.
I also spend a lot of money, so that's a problem.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's a great point. But was money ever been an issue for you? I mean, when you first moved out to San Francisco, I know it was, but like, how prevalent is money in like the real estate of your mind every single day?
I mean, there's definitely the ups and downs, especially with YouTube, because that is sort of still like a main.
Ooh, I got a great question.
You're
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
oh
keep going.
gosh.
I gotta remember it.
No, I mean, I think of course it is important, but for me, if it was all about money, I would be doing so many more things. I would definitely be selling out a lot more. You would see like all my merch everywhere, like buy this, do this. And I feel like
Is that a subtle jab
I'm just
or
saying,
not so subtle?
I mean,
Wait, what?
you never gave me a camo sweatshirt, so I'm still.
I sent you.
Where was it?
I sent you apparel, and then you sent a picture of Maddie laying on that hoodie.
I was actually gonna wear it today, but I thought that would be weird.
That's
But
okay.
Maddie loved it. But no, for me,
Everybody loves it.
they do. Yeah, it is actually really great.
Be
quality.
nice. We got
Can we
and we
talk
have
later?
and we have a
'Cause
care
I'd like to
package for
maybe-
you.
Oh, a care package. Oh, yes. No, so going back, we are really not good at staying on topic.
Nah, what were we talking? Money.
I don't know if it's
Money.
we or if it's Mr. Matthew Hague.
I
right
haven't
here.
seen her in a year. This is
I
what we used to do.
know.
Just talk about shit. And this is what I want to talk about. Money.
No, so I think it is very important, but I definitely know that there's more that I could be doing. But would that sacrifice my happiness and my free will to do the things that I'm still wanting to do? So like I could hire a whole team, but then I know I'm responsible for them. So I feel like at some point I'm going to have to do that if I want to keep doing the things that I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely important. But
I have a question.
okay, what is your question?
Ma'am, please. I have a question.
Matthew, you can speak.
You feel free to answer this or not answer it, but I actually think this could be a great This could be a great recurring question for every guest that comes on this podcast.
Oh boy.
What is the biggest check that you have ever been given that was ever written to you? Like, what's the one check, like the biggest check you saw and you deposit in the bank? I know you. I don't think you're going to tell me.
I'm not going to answer.
I'm not going to ask anyone this question.
Because I have an accountant, so he does that for me.
Well,
good answer.
We know. Well, you can't even give me like a ballpark. Because I'll tell people.
Why would she tell you that?
Because I think it's cool. Like the people that are coming on the show make a lot of money.
But I don't have billions. If I had billions, I'd be like, yeah, I took this to the bank in a bag of money.
I'll give you a question on a similar topic that is less overt.
Shallow.
Which is
overt. Nice word, Jackson.
How do you measure or think about success?
It's funny because I was actually thinking about this on the way here because, I think, having this be something that is self-made, and as I get older, I think you really do value success differently. Like I've been successful in so many different things, but I feel like there's so many more things that I want to do. So I feel like if you can figure out how to be, monetarily comfortable and also happy at the same time, like that's success. Like, because, sacrificing your own happiness to get to a place of, I have a lot of money is not what everyone thinks it is. Because there was even a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have everything that I'd always wanted when I first started doing this. And then that just creates a ton of other problems. And it's like, cool, but now what do I do with all this stuff? Where were all the friends that I had to crush on the way here?
Sets.
I buy DJ sets. But yeah, so it is that thing, but it's like, now I have all these things and it's just, things don't equal happiness. And I know it's super sappy and super cheesy, but when you get to that point, you'll realize it. And then you're like, crap, now I have to go back and figure out some things.
I think people sort of feel like there's this, like, once you hit a certain mark, everything just works in life and it's easy then. One of the things that's been striking to me over the course of this conversation is how much you talk about, like, we literally went through probably 1% of the things you've done, and you've done so much and you were so early, yet you're talking about all the things you want to do and how you still haven't gotten to half of them. And I think that's really not only impressive, but also like is pretty indicative of like the way you think about this, which isn't, hey, if I do this one thing or I make this one amount of money, then I'll have made it and I can just relax. Because you're clearly not complacent, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I think just being comfortable is the most terrifying thing for me, because there was a while that I was extremely comfortable and I was like, I'm so unhappy and my channel is stagnant, and you just have to keep reinventing and not quitting, I think, is the most important thing. People are like, well, how did you keep doing this for so long? It was like, because I didn't quit. Like, I'm still here, I'm still doing it, and I'm still enjoying it, and changing my content up to things that I like to do. And also just balancing, like we were talking about before, just find those things that are for you and you only was something that really, really helped me a lot.
And I think the one thing that I would always come back to, I mean, with how much work that you've put into your own personal brand in your career, I think for me, when I look at when I'm in like a dark place or I've been burnt out or I don't want to get up in the morning, I just think about how upset I'll be like 6 months from a year from now and how mad I'll be because I quit.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that was really motivating for me through 100 Thieves. Like, I didn't create this out of thin air. Like, the idea was there, but I had a lot of people that helped me. But
you were sharing logo stuff with us like very early on. Like, I remember Matt saying, man, I got this great idea for a thing. It's called 100 Thieves. And we're like, wow, that's a great name. Like, this is really good. And I think for you too, something that I'd always pressured you and was so annoying about, I was like, make your own thing. Don't do something like you're laughing, but
wait, it's so true. And I actually texted Jenna about this a couple months ago because I've never talked about this before, but I will for the first time right now. I was offered like a pretty sizable equity stake in FaZe Clan. Like, I left Optic and I was on my own, and FaZe Clan, I'm still really good friends with a lot of the guys over there. And I could have been like a very significant owner of FaZe Clan. And I love what they're doing. And I think they have a very unique spin on esports and content, and they're crushing it. But you and Jenna were always like, no, red flag, don't do this. Like, you can do it on your own.
Well, yeah, and
it's not yours. Like, it won't. That's legacy has already been created. Like, your footprint will never be the same, but you can do it on your own.
I was so glad when you started doing the 100 Thieves stuff, because I knew, I was like, this is something that you're passionate about. I know you have the will and the drive. You just need those people to fill in the blanks to help you get to where you wanted. And I think you've done a really great job.
Well, thank you.
So I'm so excited.
It's a big thanks to a lot of the other people that are work at this company. But I mean, for me, the reason why I brought 100 Thieves up was because it's like, for when you and Jackson keep talking about like reinventing and continuing to do more and wanting to do more, that was what motivated me to continue what I'm doing, is because 100 Thieves was so new and it was so fresh and it was so interesting, and it was really challenging. Like, it wasn't like a monotonous, like, okay, what am I going to figure out for today's vlog? And I got to learn so much through a lot of my different coworkers about actually building a business. And we're going to have other guests on this show that are going to maybe not be in such a similar position that you and I are. I think it's really helpful to hear the insights from your mind, because now you're even refreshing some of the things that I forgot you did. And it's truly unbelievable. I think, Justine, you are the definition of self-made. And
Thank you. I appreciate
the
it.
show, like, I know the tagline might sound a little corny, but it's actually unbelievable to think where you started and what you're doing now and the brands that you were working with at the very beginning. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you're bringing up so much stuff. There's so many things that just are like filling in the blanks now of just.
Wait, but I want to hear about that. We had a time slot for like 40 minutes, but like, I want to hear about other stuff. Like, I want to know. Like,
what do you want to know, Matt?
Okay, so we actually try to do our homework here a little bit, but here we have, early in your career, you were an editor, graphic designer, host, and even a spokesperson for a Pittsburgh councilman.
Bill Peduto. He's now the mayor of Pittsburgh.
No
actually.
way.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So what were you doing? And that was before you moved to San Francisco.
Yeah, so I was still back in Pittsburgh. I think we were just helping him kind of with social media and just kind of learning the ways, because social media was so early, but he was always very, very ahead of the time. And
how did you fall into that, though?
I have no idea. I mean, Pittsburgh is not that big of a city, and I was really the only person. Well, there was actually a group of people. I think they actually started a thing called PodCamp back in the day. So there was this thing called PodCamp Pittsburgh. It's like back when podcasting sort of first
Everything
started.
you touch is ahead of its time. I swear.
It's crazy.
The guy you work for is the mayor of Pittsburgh now.
No, it's crazy, and it's just really,
When did you start podcasting?
probably like 2006, maybe 2005.
Can you tell me what's going to be valuable, or what's going to be the future of media in like 2 years? Because I would like to invest in it.
really interested in AR.
Okay.
Because just have so I think AR is going to be kind
You're
of.
really excited about AR right now?
I'm really excited.
We don't
about
give
AR.
investment advice on the show, to be clear, but she said AR. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think it's going to be cool.
And you've been doing a lot with, you did a lot with 360 video and that's, I think, is the other thing that is just unbelievable about what you do, is you're always, we talk about it with very specific examples now, how you're always ahead of your time, but you started messing around with like virtual reality and 360 video, like right when the opportunity was available for consumers.
Yeah, 360 is great. I don't think it's really there yet because it's hard, because everyone doesn't have like a headset and that kind of stuff. And YouTube, it's really difficult. But shooting in 360 is amazing because you can basically go back and re-edit all of that content and miss shots that you may not have got.
That's so cool.
So like I've been obsessed with this Insta360 One X camera. Not sponsored at all, but it's just really great. I use it for so many things, and you can get such incredible shots with it.
Okay, now, man, this podcast needs to be so much longer because there's just so much I want to ask you about. I think for me, one of the last things that I'll ask, and hopefully we'll be wrapping it up soon. I'm trying to dive deeper into business and how people approach their own personal decisions. I think learning a lot from Jackson. He went to USC and worked with a lot of smart people in his short career. And he's the director of business development at 100 Thieves, the first employee here. We've talked about it on the last podcast.
Yeah, he's now working for me now, so I just hired him.
You forgot about that.
Sorry, it's okay.
Listen,
that was like a while.
Jackson, you won't enjoy it. I promise you. She has terrible taste in pizza and terrible taste in music.
Those are the two
Terrible
worst
taste
jabs you
in-
can go with. That isn't even that bad. That's tolerable, I think.
I'm way more fun.
You probably are.
No, Justine is a different type of fun.
We'll see. Well, I'll get back with my.
Sorry, I can't sidetrack that.
Okay, my question for you is, when we talk about money and the importance of it and how you approach it, what do you think when you start working on more sponsored projects? Like you started creating content for the sake of creating content, and then the opportunity to do hosting and do more sponsored events and sponsored brands. I guess I just would love to hear your mindset on working with other companies, and when they have a certain take on how their brand wants to be represented, how do you mold your own brand to fit those parameters? Because I think for me, I've had some hiccups in my career where I was like, okay, I'm going to chase a bag. I'm going to get this check. I'm going to make a bunch of money. And then the content did not suit or fit what I was normally creating. And my audience is volatile as hell. If I'm doing something that they don't like, they're going to let me hear it. How do you think that because you've clearly done a phenomenal job in dodging all the mines in this gigantic field? Like what is your mindset when you're approaching brand deals, and How do you find that as like an integral part of your business? Like, how do you approach it?
I mean, I think it's something if I'm naturally using, like those are the best types of sponsorships. Also, like I kind of go through and I'm very vocal about the things that I like and that I use and that I love. So having those kind of partnerships and brands work out, like it's really, really great. But I've definitely had some projects not go so well or talk about something that maybe I don't even want to bring it up because then people are going to look it up. But it was
Wait, no, bring it up. Bring it up.
No,
for the podcast. Come on.
No, I'm not going to bring it for the podcast. But it was a video that I thought was going to be really cool. And it was a product. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then, just the internet retaliated it. And I was like, okay, I get it. I see you. Then I won't ever do that again. And there's also been projects where I will have had to actually give money back because.
Oh, I did the same thing. Run it.
I remember. I think I know which that one is. But we don't
I'll say it.
No, I don't want to say
Everybody knows
it
which
because I really like the things that you're going to say. But don't say it.
Damn
Don't
it,
say it, please.
Justine. Like, I want to get
Matt,
juicy.
I'm saving you future brand deals. Which
She's
is,
very good at working with brands.
Yeah, I
You should listen to her.
know. I know
I
she
think-
is. She's very good. I get it.
I think it's just
So let me
being-
say stupid things.
you can't say stupid
I
things.
like saying dumb things. It's who I am, Justine.
It is, but it's not anymore.
Well-
You're a company man. You've got employees.
Yeah, but I
Be
got like an entire
responsible.
umbrella of protection because if I say
You
something
don't.
stupid, well, you're
You
right.
don't.
Justine, what was your favorite brand deal you've ever done? Put you on the spot.
Oh my gosh,
your
probably
favorite brand deal.
it would have to be when I was in the Call of Duty Black Ops commercial. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was
Oh
super
my
excited. I was super jealous
goodness.
too.
Like it was with Robert Downey Jr. And
Whoa, you meant RDJ?
I didn't, but I like to say he was in the commercial, so it's
Run
cool.
it. You should have lied. You definitely should have lied right there.
I didn't meet him, but I mean something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I am in a commercial for my favorite video game. Like, what is happening right now? Like,
Second favorite.
second favorite?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one. I want to
Oh,
hear.
I'm sorry.
No, that one works. I mean, that's phenomenal. Like you transcended the digital space. I used that phrase twice in this podcast. I don't care.
But that was like a 2-part thing. So like I did a video like on my channel, and then it also kind of transcended obviously to commercial stuff. But that was probably my favorite. But as far as like a digital one, I mean, there's been so many. I love candy ones.
There really has been so many. Damn. Yo, listen, Justine, you guys better put some respect on her name. She is the goddamn queen.
Yeah,
It is
I
insane.
gotta buy more cameras. I
I
buy way too many cameras.
want to know how big the biggest check you've ever gotten.
It's probably not that exciting.
Oh, I bet it
They
is.
usually have to pay half up front.
Ooh. Oh, damn. Just flex on him. Oh, Justine. Okay. All right. Okay. We had Black Ops. That's fantastic. Listen, we have one more thing here. Okay. We're gonna pull something up from your past.
Oh my gosh.
And we want to know.
Is it an Apple Store dance? Because you met. Oh wait, what is this?
Do you remember this?
I do. This was actually, I made this for the Yahoo talent show.
You did a Yahoo talent show?
Yeah. Oh, this was another thing. So this is back before this. Oh, so one of my heroes of all time has been Tom Green, because what he did for MTV, I was so inspired by, because he basically created this whole genre of just comedy. And so he was the judge for this Yahoo
No
talent
way.
show back in 2007. And this for me was also actually a tipping point. You asked about that before, when I thought that this was something. So they flew the top 5 contestants out to New York. It was my first time in New York ever. And they gave us all of these challenges, and we had to go and create these videos under like 24 hours. And I lost. So
Really? Who'd you lose to?
a guy named Rex.
Is he still around?
I'm not sure, but sometimes coming in
See,
second place
Rex.
is not that bad.
You're not all that, okay?
He was
You
actually
might've-
very sweet and very nice.
You might
No,
have
we
won the
hate
battle,
Rex.
but you lost the war, Rex. Idiot. All right, go ahead.
Matt, you are so mean.
run it. Let's go. I've changed. Justine.
I think Rex is now an official enemy of the podcast.
Yeah, we hate Rex.
No, we do not. He was actually incredible. He
Justine,
was
you're being
so
too
sweet.
nice. No,
Because he
we're
was
cutthroat.
sweet.
This is business, and if there's anything I've learned from business,
You're going to sleep today, son.
you burn all your bridges. You
We
talk.
already established
You
that.
talk shit, and people get hit. Rex, I'm coming for you. No, okay, wait, keep going. Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry.
sometimes it's better to be second, because then they potentially would have maybe owned my content, kind of like American Idol, things like that.
Things work out.
What was the question?
Well, we just want to know what the screenshot was from.
That was from a video talking about things that I liked.
Are
I
you?
like coffee?
This was the iJustine bio, right?
Yeah, from like 2007, but I made this for that Yahoo talent show.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: are you still thinking about legally changing your name to .com?
Middle name.
Your middle name.
Middle name? Well, I don't have a middle name.
I know that's weird. But I think it's the entire Ezarik family that doesn't have middle names.
We don't have middle names.
Jenna didn't have a middle name.
She still doesn't.
Thought that was weird.
It's weird, but it's common for us.
Why?
I have no idea.
Why did your parents not give you a middle name? Does
'Cause they didn't-
everybody in the Ezarik family not have middle names?
I think it's just like my parents. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm cool with it.
I like your parents. They seem like nice people, but they never seem like the type to just skip over a middle name.
But they didn't have middle names.
I know. But
I don't think it was. I think it was intentional.
What was the rippling effect? Like, who decided in the Ezarik lineage that I was like, oh man, I really want to screw this.
What?
I'm not giving a middle name out.
I love it.
Okay.
All right,
Less typing.
Justine, this has been amazing.
I have so many more questions.
Wait,
let's
could
get the
probably
dog.
talk all day.
I'm getting the
Should
dog.
we get the
We
dog?
need to bring Maddie first of all.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get the dog.
Hi, Maddie.
We're showing this dog on the podcast.
Maddie is.
Oh, wait. I totally forgot to say where you can find this podcast. It was a rough start, but I feel like we closed it out. Look at him. Look at his little leg.
This is Maddie.
Hi.
Maddie, what do you have to say to the fans?
If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, you can't see it, but go on YouTube and go watch us.
Yeah, this is our dog.
Hi, Maddie.
Wait, it's not art. Well, it's technically, he was named after you, which is weird.
Named after me, and he's 5% my dog legally.
You're going to have to send some checks. I'll have my lawyer get in touch with you.
You got enough money.
Ooh.
He doesn't need no
If
more.
you don't get in touch with the lawyer, some sleeper holds.
Can we put Matt to sleep?
No, please. I'd probably.
I probably shouldn't say yes.
Oh, he's
but
so sleepy. Look at him.
I think we could
He's just
try it.
waking up.
Maddie, should we put Matt to sleep? Do you want to put Nadeshot? Do you think he needs to go sleep?
I'm gonna steal this dog one day.
Justine,
Just for like
where?
a day.
First off, do you have anything you want to say to the people out there?
I just
that they
want to
haven't already
say
heard.
thank you, and I appreciate you guys for having me on the podcast. And I'm really, really happy, Matt, that you've really kind of you're petting the dog. If you guys don't know, you can't see this on iTunes, but I'm just really proud and impressed with your bringing your 100 Thieves to life. So he's kissing the dog now. So
Thank you, Justine.
I'm trying to pay you a compliment.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. The reason why those compliments mean a lot, especially coming from you, because you were the one that actually, one of the few that believed in me that this could be something much, much bigger and believed in me. So that'll always mean a lot. But it's truly unbelievable, like how much 100 Thieves, how successful it's been because of the efforts of like everybody that works in the company.
That's
like,
amazing.
I had a lot of vision at the beginning, but like from like an execution standpoint, there's so many people here that work so hard every single day. It's unbelievable. And you know, it was one thing that we actually didn't get to talk about throughout this entire podcast is how important I think collaboration is in this space, especially content creation. But now I even know more about the business, how important it is. Like it's such a collaborative effort. So people like Jackson, people like everyone behind the camera right now, it's unreal.
It is for sure.
Maddie.
And the pub. Yeah, I think one of the things that
you gave me moral support though.
I've also done too is like when you get to the point where you can't do it yourself, that's when you have to bring in help. But until you cannot do something yourself, take ownership, do it for as long as you can, because there's nothing better than being able to say, I made this, I created this, and I own this.
And I'm iJustine.
Yo, what's up?
And where can people find you?
You can find me iJustine on YouTube and iJustine everywhere on the internet.
She's got great branding. iJustine everywhere. Just search
That's
it
real
everywhere.
strong. She was probably the first one on all the platforms.
I even
anyway.
had Justine on Twitter, but then I didn't log in for a year, and then someone took it.
Wait, when did you sign up for Twitter?
2006.
Oh my gosh.
You're a wizard.
Yeah.
Y'all
I
wizard,
think that was
Harry.
probably
You were probably first 500?
No, there was actually a couple thousand, but I remember everyone that was on Twitter as text messages, like you would text message Twitter.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything else.
That's why they had, I think that's why it was 140 instead of 160.
Because you need to have the username plus
Crazy.
enough text to text it.
Yeah.
Last fact about Justine and Jenna, they've never seen Harry Potter.
Have not.
They're weird. Very weird. That's going to be my final say, my final word. I got to come up with an outro. My final signature, my final... I'm going to work on this.
Maybe you should ask them what you should say.
Ask who? The audience?
The fans.
the audience.
Crowdsource.
The fans don't know what they want until you give it to them.
That's not
Who said
true.
that?
Steve Jobs?
Yes.
Wait, really? That's what Steve Jobs
I mean,
said?
he didn't call them
Damn.
fans, but
No, he didn't
No,
say fans.
I don't call people fans anyways. Guys, thank you so
I
much
do.
for watching. Jackson, Justine, you guys have been phenomenal hosts and guests. I thank you guys so much for being on the show. Rocket Mortgage, one more time, thank you guys for being the presenting sponsor of the Selfmade podcast. You guys have made this all possible, and I appreciate it very much. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see this on YouTube, make sure you guys go to Nadeshot on my channel, and then if you guys want to watch it, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Listen, I don't know what I'm saying.
And check out Justine's content on all those
They've
places.
probably
She
already
said.
seen it.
I
trust
just seen
me.
anywhere.
All right, and we're done. And podcast, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
you're swearing.
Said fun.